Hi, my name is Paul Cresswell. Welcome to Paul's Tackle Reviews. The purpose of this channel is to review tackle that's been out on the bank, tried and tested by an unbiased, unsponsored angler, and that's me. An interesting title for the video today. I'm assuming YouTube won't block it with what I've put, but who knows, it might generate a few more views. Today I'm talking about a product that can convert your standard round dolly boat into a nice square one. So all poles come with dolly boats. It's what we need to get them up to 16 meters. I'm a big fan of using the little dolly boats. I think fishing just past where you're feeding is a great way of picking up extra fish. They are also very strong, and they reduce the chance of you damaging the end of your pole with your elbow. I have to say, in 34 years, that's not something I've ever done, but I do know people that have done that. So I bought a Preston Innovations X75 pole last year, and it came with one dolly boat. There fits the 13, 14 and a half and the 16 meter section, and with that in place you do get the full 16, but like I say, it does work on the other two sections. I do think Preston's pulled a fast one here, because I then went out and bought a second one that fits at one end the 13, 14 and a half and 16 like this one, but the other end fits the 11 and a half meter section. I've also bought another one that fits the 5th and the 6th section, so every section up from the number 5 I can, if I want to, attach a dolly boat. And then I fell for the hype, because I'm like that. This is the Superium X flat boat, which you buy separately. Again, it only fits the 13, 14 and a half and the 16 meter section. And you can see there that it's square on 4 sides rather than the usual oval round one. And I did think it was steep at the time, and I still do. That was 150 quid. So having a flat section under your arm does make fishing, in particular long, easier. And I wouldn't advocate that you get flat butts for your 10 meter section and down below. It's really not necessary. But when you've got more weight and you're trying to balance the pole, I do think it improves things. I don't think they're a gimmick, and I would say so if I did feel that. It comes into its own when you're fishing long, and maybe you're catapulting as well, so you can kind of wedge your arm on the square butt. You're not going to get any movement. You can then catapult. Or the other day, when I was absolutely freezing cold, I could put my left hand in my pocket and just fish the pole one-handed. And there was only 10 bites in the whole match. It was tough going. So I like having a flat butt extension for the longer sections of my pole. And I saw this new product from Rite Tackle, and Rite Tackle have done a couple of other things before. They make the device you can put between your handle and the net so you can weigh fish fairly quickly, and they make something to clip onto your keep net to keep count. So a small company, quite specialist, but when I saw this product, I just thought, I'm going to have to try it. It's not expensive. It'll make a good video. Who knows? It might be great. So I bought, and I'll put the photo there, what you get is 5 bits of foam that come together, and you open the packet and you think, that doesn't look much. and it cost £18. That was £15 plus £3 delivery. I then put it onto my double-ended pole butt for my pole there, and you just put them on and then you just move them down, and they are tight, they don't move anywhere. So you've created that four-side again. Now I will say during use these have never moved or twisted as well. So and I did take them off for the photo and I've put them back on. It's something that's straightforward to do. They come in 5 different sizes. That's not, you get 5 in one pack, and there's 5 different sizes of 5 depending on the diameter of your butt section, and it'll do anything from 44 millimeters up to 51. So that should just about cover all modern poles certainly on the market. And I bought the smallest one because it's going on the 11.5, and I think I measured it at 44 and it seemed like the right one, and it's a really good fit. So what's it like using this little extension? And what I will say, it's different to using this, but there's some similarities. So you've still got the flatness, but you can see that with the foam, it's slightly raised above the section. That's not a criticism. That's just how it is, and you get used to using it really quickly. It is comfier to use because there's a bit of give in that. So it sits under your elbow. We all know from a previous video, I've got a dodgy elbow, and it sits there, and you can feel when you've got the weight of the pole, you can feel the bit of padding. It is comfier to use. Now it's a little bit of foam, and if it gets wet, it will take on a tiny amount of water. But I've weighed these and they weigh 16 grams. That's all you're adding to the pole weight. I'll come on to the weights of all 3 of these very soon. And I think I weighed them the other day when I took them off for the photo, and they were wet and they were 18 grams. So it isn't an issue. They're going to dry okay. Just leave it in the garage. Everything dries. So the one that Preston supply with the pole, that weighs 134 grams. The double-ended one without those on weighs 158 grams. So that's another 24 grams, and that's because they'll have had to obviously make it double-ended and put more strength into both ends rather than the other, and that's fine. The dolly, the flat butt that they sell separately that you can buy weighs 220 grams. So quick calculation, that's 62 grams more than that. And if you add the 16 grams onto that, you've still got an increase in weight there that I believe is noticeable. Now, what I found when I'm using this one is I'm fishing at 13 meters. I put this on to fish past, put it on the rollers. You can feel the extra weight at the end. You can feel when it comes off the rollers, it might drop a little bit because it is quite heavy, and clearly there's a lot more goes into making one of these than one of those, and there is more weight that's on it as well. And once I was using it most of the time, and I did actually adjust my roller because I just wanted it further back because it was coming off and then dropping. So what are the downsides to the Rite Tackle? And there's an awful lot of upsides to it, not least the cost and the padding. The only downside I've found so far is when it comes off the roller and that goes over your roller, if you've got a little pole cup at the end of your pole, you just need to be careful, because if you just ship it out as normal, it can just be enough bounce to bounce the contents out. Now, I use a pole cup an awful lot, so I've just adjusted for that, and you get to know when it's coming and how to take the pole off, and you wouldn't want that to catch in the corner of your pole where maybe with the upright and maybe pull the roller over. I can't see that happening. I'm just probably looking at the very worst case scenario. But the only downside to this I found is that coming off the roller, you just need to watch out if you're using a little pole cup. If you're not using one, you can just whip it straight out. So, other than the price, is it better than the flat butt? And they're both excellent. I think I prefer this because there isn't the weight at the back. That's got a couple of pounds more weight that you really do notice at the back. This is comfier to use. It's obviously cheaper. The other thing is I can put my 5/6 extension in there, and it's really handy to carry about. With this one, it's got a cone at the top and a cone at the bottom, so it's a bit of a pain to carry, to be honest, because you need a separate place for it. What am I going to use going forward? Well, I've been out 3 or 4 times with this. I'm certainly going to go out again and give it much longer. I wanted to do the video having only used it for a short period because I think I've got to grips with it, and I thought a lot of people would be interested. And you see people have come up to me on the bank. Andy at our local club water, he was talking about the flat butt, and I was showing him this the other day. And I just think 150 quid is a bit much. Now, what I will say is the Matrix flat butt that they do for their new range of poles also fits the Superium, and that's 80 quid. So that's a better buy. It's still more than this, but they're quite difficult to get hold of, as you sometimes find with Matrix gear. So there are other options. I think Daiwa are bringing out a new one. That's going to be 150 quid, and that also fits the Superium big sections as well. So this is good news. If you've got a pole and you want a flat butt and they don't make one for your pole, this is the best option. And it's also a good option if you've got a dolly butt and you just want to try having a flat butt, but you don't want to shell out an absolute fortune. I think they've priced it brilliantly. Yeah, you're going to get people going, there's about £1 worth of kit there, but they've got to do research development, they've got to design it, they've got to get them made, they've got a website, they've got VAT. Yeah, the cost of that, very, very small, but I think it's a fair price in the angling world where we do tend to pay an awful lot for stuff, and sometimes I feel pay over the odds. That's it for today. If you want to give me a like and subscribe, that's great. I'm churning out videos fairly regularly now, getting some great feedback. That's always very welcome. If you've got any questions about this or any comments, then put them below and I'll come back to you as soon as possible. Until next time, tight lines.